Hi, it's Scott again. I'm back with another video. I'm going to show you a different team today, though. So I've been playing in another league as well, in which I'm using a human team. This is their ninth game that we're going to look back at against an orc team. Yeah, and the sort of format of these seasons is a 4-game Vissen format with 16 teams, and yeah, it's been quite fun so far. I've had a lot of success with this team. I think it was 1-5 drawn, 1 lost 2 over 8 games before this match, finishing I think 4th and 2nd in the 2 short leagues, like 4-week leagues. Yeah, so I've been enjoying using them. It's good to get back to using them again. And this is overlapping a little bit with the other league where we're up to the playoffs in. I want to mention someone commented like offline rather than in YouTube comments, but they found the slurping of tea during these videos comforting. I was conscious I was doing it and thought I probably shouldn't. It's not very professional, but I'm going to keep it in because it's sort of a signature move now. If you don't have a hot beverage of your own, I recommend pausing to go and grab one, because there will be some coffee drinking in this one. While we're setting up, I'm defending here. Oh, here we go. Right. Let's throw on some of the advances so you can see what we've got. So look at the human team are going to be static first once I finish moving everyone around. So we'll start looking at what we've got here. There we go. Right. So while the orcs set up, let's look over here. So Blitzer with strength 4, lineman with block and a movement penalty. So protecting my wings quite effectively there. Lineman with no advances, thrower with leader and accurate. Lineman with no advances, 2 blitzers with tackle on my other wing. So it's quite good protection on both wings. Ogre has guard as 1 advance. And then 2 linemen with no advances. No catches on the pitch. I don't play them when I'm defending usually, unless I'm playing against a team with a lot of strength too. Then I might do it. I'll pause the play back to look at the orc team before they start moving. But yeah, so my catchers over on the bench. There's 1 with sure feet, 1 with sure feet sprint and fend. All of this guy's star player points are from scoring touchdowns, which I think is a nice purity too. And yeah, he's finished top scorer in the 2 other seasons I played out of all the teams, which was a nice little addition. Hasn't scored yet this season in 2 games now. This is only the first of those. This is an extra lineman here. Another thing, my thrower, 20 star player points, all from complete passes. So quite a lot of nice purity to this team that I'm enjoying. But yeah, let's look at the orc team. Where have the... Okay, all the advances have gone. Let's see if we can get them back while they're... There we go. Okay. Can't get all the skills up. Let's see if they're going to pop back at some point before we get too much movement happening. Okay, here we go. So let's look at this team. So, Blitzer with tackle and mighty blow. Black Orc with no levels. This is a strength 4 block lineman. There's a strength 4 guard blitzer in there, other side of the ogre. And then, yeah, Black Orcs with no advances. Blitzer with mighty blow. That's a lineman with no advances. Blitzer with tackle on the wings. Another Black Orc. We got here a thrower with nerve of steel. So that was something I spotted early on. That yeah, this thrower having nerves of skill meant I couldn't rely on marking him to try and limit his passing options. It's also very sunny, so it's probably not going to be much of a passing game. I didn't like seeing that because I like throwing the ball around a lot with my human team, which is why my thrower's got 20 complete passes in 8 games to this point. So I was going to be looking at more of a sort of running style game in this particular one, just because of the weather. And only really pass it if I had to. But I'm defending first anyway. So just looking when it comes to my first turn about trying to keep my line solid, trying to stop the orcs getting through, trying to stop them caging up deep in my half. If they're going to cage up, I'm much happier than doing it deeper where I can limit their options and try and stop their advance. Been quite nice. I've only had one player go down in that turn. Not stunned anyway either. So still, yeah. There's basically six of the players on the opposing team are strength 4. It's a lot to deal with. It's a really tough team to play against, and this ends up being a tight game. I deliberately didn't show you the score at the beginning this time to avoid spoilers. And here I'm just looking at where I can set my blitz up. I don't have many blocks on, if any. I think I'm going to look at blitzing there, maybe with my strength 4 one. Yeah, to try and pick off players on the end, faster moving players who are going to be more of a threat to score. Only get the push, so don't follow up and go position him somewhere else. This blitz is still marked. Into turn 2. So immediately the ball's moving forwards, which is a great start. And yeah, so I'm looking. It's probably can see where the throw's going, but this is the safest area to come forward cage at the moment because I've got blitzers free on the wings. He's going to need to protect against those, particularly the strength 4 one. He's got his strength 4 lineman in there as well, though, so that's already good protection from that. And yeah, comes in to block that off. Probably would have taken a diagonal with that lineman to defend him, but I don't think it really becomes a problem anyway. But we talked in an earlier video in this series about how diagonal was a better protection for football carriers. So I'd really need to do, if I could get someone marking this lineman, get a 2 dice blitz on the throw there. Won't be easy to get someone through there, it means, but actually I'd need to blitz one of these Black Orcs anyway. So early knockouts, one of my tackle blitzers. I do have a 4th blitzer in this team who's out for this game. Just with a simple miss next game injury. Yeah, that's pretty solid protection for that throw there. Okay, it's onto my turn. So I need to look out for here. I got. Can you see this lineman? Can't see this lineman. I think both of these linemen are just unskilled ones. Yeah, that one too. So this is definitely a weak point. Got Black Orcs here. Good block lineman. I think there's blitzers free. No, this is not a blitzer. That's a lineman. The strength 4. Yeah, so a lot of strength 4 around his ball carrier, which is really hard to break down. Don't really feel very confident getting the ball at the moment, so I'm looking to limit advances. Try not to let them get too deep into my half of the pitch. Maybe throw some blocks where I can. The Ogre doesn't have a block on, I don't think. No, there's no one next to him. When my Ogre doesn't have a block on, I don't like to blitz with him because blitzing with a bonehead player, you're running the risk of not getting a blitz in your turn. Because he's got guard, I like to just try and stand him in as many tackle zones as possible. So probably here, maybe this one. Yeah, just stand him up because at strength 5 he's going to have to commit a lot of players to get a decent block on him anyway. He's pretty safe with his strength 5. With his guard, he's going to be able to assist on anyone he's standing next to. Yeah, so I'm probably going to be looking at moving my Ogre over there. Bring the throw back for any last ditch defending I might need to do. I like to keep a tackle blitzer back here, usually as a sweeper. Having said all that, I do blitz with my Ogre. I thought that was the best thing I had on. That's a rare blitz by my Ogre. I don't do that often. But then go on to stand in 2 tackle zones after. That gives me a 2 dice block on this blitzer. I can push him against the touchline. Maybe try and look to push him off the pitch next turn. So this is still the weak part of my line here. This is the block the block lineman. Maybe strengthens it a bit, but yeah, over here is where I'm weaker. Because Orcs don't move that fast, it's not urgent. I've got time to respond to this weaker part of my line, which may have been my thinking. Sorry, just had a disturbance away from the game for a moment. Oh, have I just paused it? I paused the replay. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's in there. I'm very unfortunate that I had to re-roll to go for it, and then a double skulls on the block dice. That's effectively 3 1s out of 3 right there. That lineman should be on the floor. So I got away with that a bit, but now I'm looking to gang up on this Black Orc. I've got a block lineman here who can throw a block. Shove this blitzer off the pitch. The early turnover meant he couldn't do anything about that blitzer being in there. I got very lucky with armour and injury rolls in this game. Some of my linemen particularly were a bit exuberant with their blocking. Apothecary saved this one's life, but I think it's an agility penalty. Might have taken, yeah. So, but yeah, human lineman doing that to a Black Orc is, well, it's rare. Doesn't happen often, but. So using the move after the block on this blitz to try and get some more pressure on the ball. Forces him to use his blitz back there, probably. Is probably the best way of dealing with that. He's got his straightforward block lineman here to deal with him. That's going to limit where the how far the cage can move in this turn, and means there'll be no blitzing down here for this group of 3 linemen. This lineman over here. So just to push back on there. He wanted to at least move him, so taking the both down wouldn't have been any good. Got the ball fairly solidly held over here. Might be looking at if this blitzer can reach this square to blitz. This player coming in there is trying to prevent that anyway. Oh no, he's gone the other way. Yeah, so I'm just interested now looking back. So I don't think I did this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, you'd need to dodge and go for it to get it, so it's probably fairly safe. So that blitzer trying to dodge there. Fouled that, probably kind of try and mark this blitzer. Foul Bonehead. I basically never use rerolls on Boneheads unless I really have to. Loner is, so debilitating for that. So Orc attack's going this way. I'm trying to shift left a bit to cover that attack. There's a blitz coming here. Okay, so there's my block lineman coming in to have a go at the Black Orc with a couple of assists. And I think a lot of the rest of the half is played along this sort of new line here rather than a line sort of rotated to there. So the Orcs are really compact here, which means I can sort of get around them and hem them in. Not much quicker than Orcs with a human team, but the extra movement does tell a bit. Made a dodge in there to just try and stand off them, hold them off a bit, but then come in there to make that not an easy 2-dicer. So, aggressive play from the ball carrier. Now needs to move these 2 players standing next to him. No tackle zone from Ioda. That Black Orc can move away. And that blitzer can move through. Yeah, so setting up to shift these linemen. It's 2 linemen with no skills, so not going to get an easier chance to move them. That is the only available space though, right in front of the ball carrier, which is stun helps though. Stun helps the attack there. Into my turn, second foul bowhead in a row. So the ogre's pretty much out of the game at the moment. Not a lot you can do there. And I'm just trying to see if I can get some 2-dice blocks on this Black Orc. Getting this one down means I'm looking at leaving very little blocks on for the Orcs. I've got this guy I'm saving till later because it's 2 dice with no block. try and at least push this one away, and I'm leaving the Orcs with no blocks to take. I was really pleased with how I defended in this game. So I got the push there with the initial roll. I'd 3 rerolls and 4 turns left. One of the last actions I was going to take in this in this turn rather. I thought I might as well chuck a reroll at it and managed to knock him over. When you've got plenty of rerolls towards the end of a half, you've got to make sure you use them. There's no blocks for the Orc. The Orcs are just going to be looking at 1 blitz, and they're pretty surrounded. It's making the scoring pretty tough. But always got a loose blitzer down here. Throw with Nerves of Steel, so he can step forward and make a pass if he needs to. But doesn't need to just yet. Still got a few turns. So yeah, ball is well protected, but now I've got a player back here I have to deal with. So it's a blitzer with tackle. Probably going to be looking at using my blitz action down there. Moving someone down for an assist. I've already used my strength 4 blitzer to make that first block. So I'm going to be looking at another assist on this blitzer before I come and hit him. Some chain pushes to shove the throw back. I've got a stranded lineman in there. Sorry, I was thinking strength 4 here. Didn't need another assist at all. Just the one will do it. Yeah, so that's dropped a blitzer down where he's going to be marked when he stands up. Another injury. I think that's another Black Orc as well. So Black Orc out for the match. 2 Black Orcs down. Down to a much more reasonable 4 strength 4 players that are facing. And again, I'm trying to, because I'm standing off from this cage, I've been trying to get to no blocks. There are a few on this one. This guy's obviously going down. A lot of chances to put him down. He ended up, he was stunned, he got surrounded. Stunned again. So standing up there. Yeah, so the blocks the York player did have, definitely making the most of. Putting players on the floor. A blitz there from that strength 4 lineman. Knocking a blitzer back and down. Followed up does give my thrower a 2 dice block at him at the moment. Don't really like blocking with my thrower. So a blitz from this laying down blitzer might be a better move. Much prefer my thrower to stay out of the scrapping if I can. He's an important player for my team. So Ogre just in standing as many tackle zones as possible. And yeah, I do use the blitzer to try and knock this guy away. Sorry, that was a strength 4 blocker lineman, so I did need more assists in there. And now I can get my thrower free to a much safer place here to give an assist here as well. I think I'll probably do it a bit. I could just leave this blitzer marked up because he's not really a threat like that. But I do have a 2 dice block, so I may as well take it. Just a pushback though. So leaves a blitzer with an easier dodge on if he wants it. But yeah, so turn 8. Now we're looking at dodge the blitzer in, chucking the ball is the only play I've left the team with. So the dodge fails, still has rerolls available. Gets him into the end zone. So now this marked throw with Nerves of Steel has the chance to chuck it, but the throw's inaccurate and yeah, bounces into the end zone. So that's the attack shut down, and so it's a good thing for new players because how do you defend against the cage is quite a popular question from new players, and I think just looking back over that, I should have said this beforehand really, but I did a lot of just standing 1 square off, trying to deny them as many blocks as possible, so they're trying to only or you're limiting to only knock down 1 player a turn. as far as you can. Obviously, you're going to get stuck in sometimes. If I was making unnecessary dodges to try and get out, or feeling like I had to make dodges to try and get out to deny them more blocks, that's going to be rolling more dice, taking more risks, having more turnovers. So often I'll just stay in there. And in that last turn, I knew Orcs only had one turn left. It's time to just throw everyone in, limit their options. Even if they're going to throw blocks at you, just go for it. They've got to try and score. Getting the ogre in on the ball carrier makes it tough. Normally a thrower wouldn't have nerves of steel, so it's much more effective in that sort of situation. But yeah, there comes a point where you have enough players stuck, and this is too good an opportunity not to take, so I'm going to be trying to get this blitzer off the pitch. I think that's my thrower doing it, yeah, so the thrower just needs a push to get him off, and yeah, so no injury, so blitzer will be back for the second half. But yeah, when you're standing off a cage trying to limit their blocking options, they either have to try and move around you or somehow make a hole that they can exploit. But there comes a point where you're just looking at chucking as many bodies in, because you've got too many dodges to make to deny them blocks. You just need to deny them easy blocks instead. And it's better to do that as late in the half or as in the drive as you can. It's been an absence of coffee drinking. It's starting to go cold. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to see if I can get any more blocks in before half time. And yeah, that's got all right. So very decent first half. I kicked the ball, didn't get scored on, didn't hold the ball at any point, but now I'm receiving the ball and I've got a half to try and score. If I can score around turn 5 or 6 against an Orc team, I'd feel really confident at defending, because they're not quick, they're not really a threat to score in 2 turns unless I really mess up on defence. So yeah, I'd be very, very happy with trying to hold them off at that point. So I'll be looking to score around turn 6 would be great. 6 or later, really. I've mentioned in videos before, I don't like stalling and tend not to do it. I only ever stall if I've got a secret weapon on the pitch that I want to keep around. I think that's the only time I ever try and stall. Like if I'm playing dwarfs with a death roller, the turn I'm receiving the ball, I want to make sure I'm scoring in turn 8 to get the most out of the death roller before it gets sent off. But yeah, back to this game anyway. My catchers are coming onto the pitch now, so this fella here is the one with sure feet, the less experienced one. Other one I think still on the bench at the moment. That must be on by now. Yeah, this one here, David Took, top scorer of 2 seasons running, earlier on in this league, and so he's picked up a lot of star player points. Taken sure feet, sprint, and fend. Always take sure feet before sprint rather than the other way round. Have left myself in this setup a little bit vulnerable to a blitz. I don't think happens here, but extra reroll, which is nice. But yeah, on a blitz I could have lost one of my catches pretty easily from a blitzer coming in, 2 dice in them. And this blitzer and mighty blow would have been an ideal one to do that. So if I'm playing against the bashy team with humans, because humans are so adaptable, you can kind of play them however you like, but I like to play a more passing game against the bashy team. With the weather, the bright sunshine, so -1 on all passing, I think I either forgot that or decided to go for throwing anyway in this game. But the passing game didn't really work out, and we'll see that develop. But yeah, I like to get, if I can get 2 catches deep in the opponent's half, force them to either use their blitz there or commit players to watching them. It's sort of the classic way. I mean, elves do this. Any elven team, particularly high elves, do this much better than humans with their higher agility and their strength 3 catchers. But yeah, it's nice to get a couple of quick players in the end zone who can catch in the opponent's half, who can catch the ball, get into the end zone. Then you're always a threat to score. The defending team have to commit players to dealing with them. I've only got one in so far. I will be looking to get my second catcher through as well. I don't like making ridiculous dodges down like this, not with humans anyway. Yeah, blitz on this catcher. Perhaps a bit gung-ho, sending him forward on his own. So just stunned, so he's out for the next turn, and then I'll be looking at getting him to be a threat again. And I may be able to have a second catcher down there to divert the defending team's attention by that point as well. But yeah, so things like we've covered in other videos earlier, that'll flag up again. There's no need for me to commit players to caging around my thrower down here. Orcs aren't fast enough to threaten him where he is, even if I didn't have a screen up. But I do have a screen up, making it really hard for them to get through. They have to deal with players here if they want to get at the guy with the ball. And because I had a catcher deep in their half, that's when they had to use the blitz to go deal with him, make sure he's not a scoring threat. If that catcher had just been left, just been ignored, I'd now have move up here, throw it to a catcher for a quick touchdown. And at that point, I think the Orc player's going to be hoping for at best 1-1. So conceding a quick touchdown in this situation would not suit the Orc player at all. They really want the ball off of me to score themselves at this point with the game level in the second half. So yeah, made space to get that second catcher into the Orc half. So now I have 2 scoring threats in there. One of them stunned at the moment, obviously. But it's more, and this I think this is a straight forward. No, just a tackle blitzer. Straight forward blitzer on the floor. Yeah, he is. Straight forward blitzer stunned. But yeah, so a blitzer and 2 catchers, all in scoring position. And it's another injury. So yeah, casualty for my ogre. Miss next game for the Orc lineman. Just move the ball up a bit. Don't need to panic about throwing it to anyone yet. There's no need to pass it. Come into the shadow of this lineman for a bit of extra protection, because this blitzer could be free enough to come down and get him if he was a bit freer or was in front of this lineman. So there's a blitz on here, which is on the lineman protecting the thrower. So because 1 square further back definitely would have been better for my thrower, because we've got to follow up straight into him. Means I'm going to have to dodge next turn, because I'm not going to be able to deal with both of these players. So it's going to have to be a dodge. So the extra player in there means this lineman had to go deal with it. Leaves my blitzer free to stand up and move next turn and not be pinned against the touchline. My straightforward player is an important. Straightforward blitzer is an important player in this team. He puts a lot of work in, especially when I'm attacking, trying to make holes in the opponent's lines. So just marking up there in case I do need to throw blocks later and to limit what I can do. Dodge the catcher out, stand up and dodge away. Our bonehead from the ogre, I think I was probably just going to chuck him in some tackle zones over here. So I have to dodge with my thrower. And with not much protection, decided to go for the pass, but the catch is messed up. Initial one because of the tackle zone, it was on a 3, but then failed his catch re-roll a 2. So yeah, putting that tackle zone on the catcher, messed that play up. So takes it down, no injury, but fends the follow-up away. Big chest bump from the 2 block players there. And yeah, dodging out to stand on the ball. So 2 tackle zones on the ball from the Orcs. And Injured blitzer. I think this is just for the game. Yeah, so just a badly hurt. Down to 2 blitzers. 3 players with block with a... I've got a lineman with block as well. He's back here somewhere. There he is. Yeah, so now I'm looking at standing players up first because I know they're not going to be doing much else. This player's free to move where I want him to go. Clearing these players off the tackle zone, off the ball. At least one I might feel alright about coming through to pick up the ball with sure hands with 1 tackle zone. It's not ideal, but I'm not going to be able to get rid of both of them because I've only got the 1 blitz, obviously. Strict 4 blitzer, where's he gone? Is he on the floor? That's not him. Oh, he's down here. So he's marked. He's got to throw a block on this guy, really. Only players I've got free to move are, this catcher and my thrower. So I don't really want to be, blitzing with either of those. I've got to look at where else I can do that. It means dodging with someone, really. Unless maybe I can get this lineman free. That's still not a great dodge, though. I can't try and block this Black Orc because my ogre's got no tackles down at the moment. I need to activate him first. I really want my thrower to be the one to come pick up the ball, so I don't want to be using him before I've got the ball clear enough. I can't remember how I did this. So let's see. Okay, so that's a strength 4 blitzer knocking that lineman over. Clears a bit more space, so I do activate the ogre to push the Black Orc out of the way and away from the ball. So this lineman's free and moves in. So I think it looks like I might be trying to blitz with this guy, maybe with a dodge. So stand the catcher up. So for 2 dice block there. I think I'm looking at a dodge there. Oh no, just block the thrower. Okay. So it looks like at this point I'm just chucking tackle zones on the ball. And then have a go at a 5+ pickup with my thrower. Which fails even with short hands. So ball is down here. Orcs have got to look at trying to secure it. Clear the caption. I've still got this catcher who's a threat to score. This blitzer is unmarked. Still got this catcher who's a threat to score. He's got a relatively easy dodge away, although this blitzer does have tackle. So perhaps no easier than any other player on my team, in fact. Both of these straightforward linemen in particular. Tough to deal with. I've got 1 tackle zone on the ball. This straightforward guy probably wants to be looking at, blocking here. If you can knock the thrower over, it's 2 dice on this one as well. Then stand as many players around the ball as you can. Let's run it on. So a bit of marking up there. It's making sure they're all right, keeping people who can be a threat to score in my half. If you can get the ball and chuck it to them. So blitz is happening down here. Free up his thrower. Thrower's already stood up this turn, so I'll be able to act. That's another knocked out blitzer. I'm down to just my strength 4 blitzer. From those, moving on a bit there, and it was that lineman onto the thrower. Not pushing him onto the ball because he knew he'd have a tackle zone at that point on it. And knocking down that lineman as well, pushing him away from the ball. The 2 dice on that unskilled lineman. Right, and that's the York turn. So here, my closest players to the ball are on the floor. This catcher's marked with a tackle blitzer. This catcher's free. So if I'm coming in to look at a 4+ pickup and run it in, I think I can do that this turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a go for it. He's got sure feet, so that's a pretty safe move. As long as he can pick up on a 4, dodge on a 3 with a reroll, and then go for it. Is my best play for scoring this turn. Turn 13, he's just going on to, so I'd be leaving the Orcs with 4 turns. 4 turns to score, which is enough for them to do it. But after defending the way I did in the first half, feeling pretty confident about doing so again. So that's the play I'm going to be looking at making this turn. So stand up some players first. Second block from my Ogre in this game. They're sort of collector's items. I really don't do it very often. And I think the advice I gave earlier stands about how you risk losing the action by doing it. Bit of an unnecessary 1 dice block there, but it's probably not as risky as this play I'm about to make. Yeah, so gets the pick up and the dodge and the go for it for 1 last thing. So yeah, going ahead in with 4 turns remaining. Also leveled up that catcher, which was nice. He rolled a double as well, and I took Nerves of Steel, which for me is almost an auto take on a double for a catcher. With it being a passing skill, it can be hard to come by for players who you want to be catching the ball. Yeah, it means you can ignore marking if you're throwing the ball to them. It gives you a really nice way out of a tight spot sometimes. Always recommend Nerves of Steel for a catcher if you play a throwing game. It'd be very useful. So now back to defence. So catchers are off the pitch for me. Setting up with a sort of system I like to use against sort of blocking focused teams. I did do something different in the first half when I defended. Sort of remembered I like to play this, but I messed it up a bit. These players should be 1 step further forward because at the moment he's got easy 2 dice blitzes on these players. We've got a strength 4 one here, so he'd need an assist and one of his strength 4 players to blitz there, or just one of his strength 4 players here. He's sort of giving away easy 2 dice ones against valuable players. It should be the other way around, so it's harder to get assists. You need a guard in there to get assists on them. I realised that as soon as I hit confirm. So yeah, quite a simple mistake. Yeah, so it's just my 2 catchers on the bench. I've got a blitzer out injured, so 2 blitzers on the pitch, a thrower and Ogre, and the rest are all linemen. Only one of which has an advance at this point. Fortunately got a perfect defence and could correct that mistake that I made. And yeah, remember breathing a sigh of relief as that happened. Not that important, but it does protect my player a bit. Yeah, straight to 2 dice blocks. He's got 4 turns to score. He's got blitzers far enough forward to threaten my flanks. And yeah, he's going to be looking at putting down my whole line of scrimmage. Not sure why he blitzed there rather than taking the block with this player. Could have had a go at another player with a blitz. Not. Sure, he really needed to necessarily throw it that quickly, but ball's well protected in there. But Bonehead, so Ogre's stays on the floor, loses tackle zone and his guard. Straightforward blitzer back to defend in case anyone does get through. If they do, it's probably going to be a blitzer, so I want someone who can take them on their own if possible. Then I just set up in what sometimes gets known as elf columns, where you stick 2 players back to back, so if they can knock the first one down, they're still not through the line because there's another player just behind. Start moving towards that. There's no real rush to get it because I'm outpacing the other team for the most part. Yeah, it's a 4th casualty in the game. And another miss next match. Important player down for the Orcs there. It was probably the biggest scoring threat. It's the furthest forward blitzer, I think. shoving back that lineman. Taking him on with the Black Orcs. Left the strength 4 guard blitzer free to move wherever he needs him. Ball's headed this way. With the strength 4 lineman, so ball carrier himself will be tough to take on. He's pretty well protected. It's just sort of left my thrower as the only threat to him, and he is the threat to him, basically. So it's sort of an invitation to get a 2 dice uphill block with my thrower, but I'm not taking that. I'd much prefer to just try and hold up the Orcs attack for this these last 2 turns. Just make sure they can't score. Strength 4 blitzer is back here in case he does get through. The thrower here is probably my weak point, and I've supported him with this lineman now. And here I think I'm looking at just trying to pile some bodies in there, mark up these 2 Black Orcs, gives them 1 dice at best without committing another player. Probably looking at where I'm going to get the blitz in. Maybe on this blitzer I'm looking at. Oh, that's the strength 4 one. May not have noticed that at this point. I've gone down here instead. Leading blitzers knocked down. The furthest forward and quickest, one of the quickest players that would have been the biggest scoring threat. And we get 1 dice on the strength 4 one to get some shove backs. And I've only left 2 players that can just be blocked. Sorry, 3. This one as well. Oh, no, because he stood up. Just 2 players. So yeah, can commit another player in here, so I can get 2 dice on the ogre. Let's use a reroll. And yeah, dead ogre. Still have my apothecary. Who this apothecary doesn't have a great history. It was all right there, but he's a couple of times has rolled dead as my second option. Lost a catcher in their first game because of a double dead result on the apothecary. So yeah, looking at, I was not sure why I was looking at passing the ball there, but didn't have anyone who could score now anyway. These players were all far enough back, so maybe just trying to recognising that a touchdown wasn't on, maybe just trying to grab some star player points. Just a quick one with that lineman. So yeah, going into my last turn, I'm just looking at if I can get any 2 dice blocks. I don't need to worry about the touchdown at this point. Strength 4 blitzer comes into the game for the first time in this drive. Really, he's been hanging out of the back. Targets the Orc strength 4 blitzer. And into turn 16. We'll just let this play out. Go for a bit of star player pointed farming there. Was 5-point lineman, definitely fair enough. So it ended 1-0. Decent start to the season for my team coming back. There were 2 seasons I first played in with this group of this gaming club, which is back in Kent, where I'm from originally. So 2 seasons. I finished. I think it's either 3rd or 4th in the first season, then 2nd in the second season. I was 1 mistake away from winning the thing in the second season, but yeah, lost 1 game in each of those first 2. And yeah, this third season, which is we're 2 games into now. This was the first one, so good start. Only 4 teams out of 16 won in the first match week. Which meant I was going to be paired off against another team that won in the next week. I hardly saw any of the ball. even when I scored, I think the ball spent 2 or 3 turns laying on the floor, sort of in Orcs tackle zones, and I eventually got it. But I think I was only holding it for maybe 2 turns, including the turn I scored in. Probably 3, actually, 3 turns. Orcs had a lot of the ball, but the defence I put up was quite effective. And for that question of how do you defend against a cage, I'd say look at the first half in detail again. Sorry I didn't say that at the beginning. I'll put it in the description. Maybe it'll pick up on that. But yeah, the first half, what I was doing was just standing back, denying them blocks wherever possible, making sure it's hard to get through. I know a lot of players, when they're kicking, or they're defending in Blood Bowl, they want to make the priority getting the ball and scoring. I like to make I think the priority when you're defending needs to be don't let them score. And I think if you switch a bit more to that sort of mindset, like shutting down an attack rather than trying to score when you're defending, I think it's sort of a safer way to play. It can help you get some better results as well. And defending is about stopping the other team scoring. Like that's the first priority of it. And yeah, standing back from their cage, limiting where they can advance, is a great way to do that. So I wanted to go through this game, just because I was quite pleased with how that had gone. Quick spread of dice. Both rolled more 6s than 1s. Doesn't really matter. The game comes down to a lot more than that in the end, but not that many risky rolls happening anywhere. So things we looked at in earlier videos, both coaches were playing pretty well, not doing really anything that silly or unnecessary. But yeah, it just came down to that one touchdown where I was able to get into a tackle zone and nick the ball. So it was a very tight game. And I think things like the injuries to the Orcs played a really big factor. Nuffle was with me there, people might say. But yeah, that's our game. I think I might come back through and look at all of the games from this season as I go through it. The next game I had in this league, which was just last night at the time of recording, was against this. This is a human team who are relatively experienced. The coach is fairly new to the game as well. I don't know the coach. There were. I moved away from this area about 7 years ago, so there's a lot of people in this gaming club now I've never met. But there was the 2 seasons I played in. I couldn't take part in the third one, which is when this team started. Might guess from the name, there's a lot of innuendo in this team, and we'll get to see and perhaps giggle at some of the players' names in the next video. But I'll come back and look at that as well. So that could be interesting to see too. That's it for now. Thanks for coming in again, and I'll see you next time.